Now, this was cool news. We don't really talk about Neo Geo MVS too often, or Neo Geo in general, on the podcast. That Cadillac of game systems / arcade. I finally got a US AES a year and a half, 2 years ago. Was actually a part of Flea Market Madness. And got a consoleized MVS. You know why I got a consoleized MVS? It's because the AES games cost a fucking arm and a leg. So an MVS game like, I don't know, Metal Slug that can cost you $80, the same thing can cost you $1,000 for the AES home console version. MVS is the version cartridge that you put into the arcade slot, if you didn't know out there, and AES is the home system. The problem is that since more people are getting consoleized MVSs, if you call it a problem, and there's also now converters to play MVS arcade games on the home AES, MVS games have shot up in price as well. Not to the extent to even come close to matching the exorbitant AES prices. But they've risen as well. I'm not an expert. I don't follow it too much, but I know from talking to people that they have gone up. So what do you do about that at that point? Well, they do have those, I think there's like 4 or 5 popular multi-carts. The 141-1, they have the 81-1, the 61-1, which will give you like 60 to 75% of the Neo Geo library on a cartridge. And it used to be that, that MVS cart was not compatible with the AES, even the converters they had, but now they are. But the newer converters cost like $400. So that's not the best solution. It's still not a cheap system to play. And you can get but you can also get a consoleized MVS if you want to play those multi-carts, or just buy the cheaper MVS games. But those consoleized MVSs will run you anywhere from $400 to $700, something like that, in that range, depending on how well finished they are. So that's a problem too. There's no easy way out when it comes to the Neo Geo game playing. There isn't. So we have finally the release of the Neo SD MVS. It's a Neo Geo MVS flash cart. Brand new. Starts shipping middle of November. It's compatible with all commercial games and homebrews. You have 768 megabits of flash memory. This is from their press release. Enough to hold the largest officially released games. And plus some extra space for system software. And there's information about the tech side about, the speed of it, how much RAM, everything else. Supports micro SD and SDHC cards up to 32 gigs. So my knowledge, I'm trying to think of my emulation days on Neo Geo. You should be able to fit the entire library on 32 gigs easily. There's about, 200 Neo Geo games, something like that. That should fit fine. You'll have a friendly game selection menu with game screenshots, instant boot to the last flash game. It appears as an original cartridge to the board, which can use the BIOS soft dips configurations as with the original cart. That's a pretty cool idea. Runs original games unpatched, emulating the original cartridge protections in hardware. Nice. Can be used for game development. Allows the homebrew games to access expanded hardware features. SROM banking, increased bank area space. I have no idea what that means. I'm just looking at this press release. It's updatable system software and firmware for future additions and features. You can switch the cartridge region without needing special BIOS. That's pretty cool. Now, even in the past, if you got an AES, you can buy like a Japanese AES, but if you played an English game, it would automatically swap to the Japanese version because they're system locked. AES home consoles by what region, US or Japan. Doesn't matter what game you put in, it'll switch the language. So this would eliminate that, which is cool. An MVS board AES emulation without needing special BIOS. Really sweet. Really sweet. Now the cost. You can't get away from it. You just can't. You can't get away from a consoleized MVS costing you a lot. Hell, even a Japanese AES, which is a hell of a lot more common than a US one's going to run you at least $250 at this point. This is going to cost you 380 euros for this Neo Geo MVS flash cart. 380 euros is about $422. Well, the US dollar got a little bit stronger, which is nice. So it still keeps it out of reach if you want to play on a console, on a TV, because you're going to buy your consoleized MVS. That's going to run you, like I said, I'll just say 450, 500. and then you're going to spend $400 on this flash cart. You're going to buy an extra controller, maybe. You're looking at $1,000 to play Neo Geo games on your TV. Nah. Now, of course, that's the last time you're going to have to ever pay anything to play, but that's what you're looking at. So that's your solution there. That's one of the solutions. You get this flash cart, you load them up with your ROMs, you get a consoleized MVS, you're good to go. Of course, you can, like I said, you can get the AES, get the converter for an MVS. It's still going to run you $1,000. The converter is going to cost you $400, and then you're still going to have to buy your multi-cart's going to run you maybe $100 or less. But then that doesn't have all your individual games that you want. It's not going to have your Windjammers on there potentially. It's not going to have your King of Fighters 2001 or something. You have to buy that separately. You know what I'm saying? There won't be all the Metal Slugs. You'll get most of them probably, but not all of them. So you're still going to be running a ton of money. So this still might be the way you want to go. But if you own an arcade machine, fuck it. This is definitely the way you want to go. Absolutely. Because again, those multi-carts don't have all the games. With this, you're going to get all the games. You're just going to download a nice little torrent, probably, having all your Neo Geo library on there. Absolutely. If you own an arcade, this is the way to go. I want to get it. I do have a Neo Geo cabinet now. It's not in the best condition. It has to be restored. But when I get it up and running, I will absolutely get this cart for it. And not have to worry about buying a separate MVS card or swapping out, inferior compilation carts, multi-carts, one for another ever again. I will definitely be on board with this. Abso-freaking-lutely. So I'll put the link. This is at neosdstore.com. Obviously, no reviews are out yet for how this actually works. But, let's assume this thing works fine. If it doesn't, Neo Geo players and collectors, they will scream and shout. They got a lot of influence and money. You don't want to screw with them. They will take you down. But there's also a YouTube video. If you go there, they show it off. They show it working. So, they'll sell a decent amount. Maybe the price will come down, maybe not. But, they're pricing it smartly because they're pricing it the same amount as a converter. So there you go. And on the video, they do show it flashing. They show the hardware. They show an MVS arcade board, and they show their cart in there. And they're loading up a game. There you go. There you go. I wonder if they'll do an AES version. That'll be very interesting. Very interesting. I'm guessing I don't know why they wouldn't be able to if they did an MVS one. The guts are about the same. It's the same hardware. So there you go for those 14 Neo Geo collectors / game players, fans out there listening to this podcast. You can't wait for that one, can you?